Hello everyone, Kristina here. Welcome to another release walkthrough, this time for the month of March 2026. I have quite a few products for you this month, and there's one big, huge bundle that has lots of extras. I'm going to walk you through what you need and how you can break the bundle apart if you choose to buy things separately. So let's get into it. The Big Day Birthday Bundle actually has 5 products in it. I've only got 3 shown here on camera. I will show you the other 2. They're kind of like an additional, they're little add-ons that I personally wanted to have in my stash, so I thought some of you might as well. So the first thing in this bundle is a stencil set. This is the Big Day Birthday Stencil Pack. There are 7, yes, 7 stencils in this stencil pack. And that's because I wanted it to be super colorful. When I think of birthdays, I think of lots of different colors, very cheerful, kind of congratulatory, along those vibes. So I wanted to make sure that you had an option to make it super colorful. So you have the design here with cupcakes, balloons, cakes, party hats, banners, some stars and hearts and things like that. So in the stencil pack, there are 7 stencils, and I'm going to show you why you need so many. Well, first of all, we have the main design, and that's what was used for this example right here. It has the full design, so you can do everything all at once. The rest of the stencils are different segments that will build the pattern, and then there is one stencil that is the background. So it's going to fill out the entire design, and that's why you need 6 stencils to do the rest of the pattern. So you have the 6 to build the pattern, and then you have the one that has the full pattern already complete. Next up in the Big Day Birthday Bundle is the stamp set, and this is one that I was really looking forward to. I wanted to have a bunch of different large greetings that you can put together to build different groupings of the words for different phrases. So you have, most of these can be, interchangeable. So you could be, it's your birthday, happy big day hugs, birthday wishes, big day wishes. It's your big day, it's your birthday. There's a lot of different things you can do to mix and match all of these greetings. And then I have a bunch of these secondary greetings that you can put with your large grouping. So over on the dies, it's a similar vibe. I wanted to make sure that you had big day, birthday, and then all of the large greetings. And like most of my other stamp and die sets, these dies in here are the exact same size as the stamps. So you can use the shadow for this die with its coordinating stamp. You can use them interchangeably. The difference with the big day and birthday is that over here, the letters are separate. And on here, on the die, they are combined with a little line at the bottom. Let's look at some examples on the back of the die packaging, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So for example, let's look at these 2 right here, the phrase big day. So up here, there's a little line underneath the letters. That's the die. And then right here, there is no line. That means that it is stamped. Hope that makes sense. It's a little bit harder to tell with the scripty greetings because it could go either way. It could be stamped or die cut. Over here, this one has a little bit of a thicker line, so it was a die. And right here, it's a little bit of a daintier line, so that was stamped. So it really just depends on how you want to use it. You can use them interchangeably. And then you have these 2 kind of long sentiment strips, and that's to cut out the 2 lined sub-greetings and also the single line sub-greeting. So you can cut out some nice rectangle shapes. When I was putting this together and kind of mocking up my designs, I realized that I wanted to do something like this, where it's like, it's your big day, but I wanted them to share one shadow die so that I could put the die cut of big day, or I could stamp a big day. I could kind of decide which way I wanted to go. So if you wanted to get just the main products, I would say get these 3, the stamps, the dies, and the stencil. But then we also have the Big Day Shadow Dies and Birthday Shadow Dies. And what this does is it gives you the full complete shadow to either stamp or put a die cut on top. So we've got the Big Day Shadows and the Birthday Shadows. So these are broken out of the die set because otherwise this would be a huge die set. So there's actually 3 dies in the bundle if you want all of the options. And I think it's a really fun way to break these apart. So let's look at some cards made using this bundle. And I'll call out when the shadow dies have been used and when the separate dies have been used. First up, we have this very colorful bright card. And this is one that uses the Big Day Shadow dies. You can see that this white shadow behind these die cuts is all one piece. You can see that they're all stacked up really nice there. Very colorful card. And this one uses the Birthday Shadow dies as well. So we've got that Rainforest cardstock in the background, and it's giving a nice, complete, solid shape there. Here's a 1-layer card. Everything's just stamped or stenciled. So we've got that full stencil design just with a nice fade in Tide Pool ink. And then the birthday stamped in Tide Pool and the hugs stamped in Juniper. Has a nice little overlap there. And the sub-greeting in black. Here's another card that uses the Big Day Shadow dies. You can see that it has this nice white area in the background. And then a bar right here for Make-A-Wish. Just so you know, this pattern back here is my Deco Star Easy Repeat stamp. This card also uses the A7 oval basic size that are also in this month's release. And then using the A2 basic oval size is this card. And this is all stamped with the Happy Birthday, Let's Celebrate. And I just used a bunch of different strips of cardstock cut with my Easy Strips die. And then this card was cut using the A2 basic ovals dies. So this is the Big Day Birthday bundle. There's a lot of different parts in the bundle itself. So like I said, if you want to use the basics of this bundle so all the products can be used together, I would go for the Big Day Birthday stamps, the Big Day Birthday dies, and the Big Day Birthday stencil pack. And then for some additional fun, I would get those shadow die sets as well. The Flower Field bundle has 3 products in it. The first one is this really large 6x8 stamp set. You can see the really large flowers. I wanted to have a nice big image that you could use on 5x7 cards, even when the card is landscape. So we have a nice big flower section here, and then you have 6 additional greetings so you can put on top of your card. Now, this stencil pack has 5 stencils in it, and it is used to color in this really large image. So you can see some examples on the back of the packaging here. I have a card with this exact color scheme that I'll show you here in a moment. So there are 5 stencils in the stencil pack, and it will color in all of the individual elements on this large stamp. So there's that. And then for dies, I really just wanted dies to cut out these greetings over here on the side. So it's a smaller little die set, and it will cut out each one of these greetings. So let's look at some cards made using this bundle. First up is a card, and the stenciling is the exact colors from the example on the back of the packaging on the stencil pack. And a nice faded blue blend from the top, and then really colorful flowers down here at the bottom. Now, one thing to note is that I really did only use 5 stencils, but there are 6 colors because the centers of these flowers look orange. That's because it's on the same layer as what is stenciled in yellow, and it's on top of the pink flowers. So the pink and the yellow create orange. So you do sort of get a little bit of another color added in when you do it this way. All right, we have a little card here, mostly monochromatic colors, all pinks and a little bit into the purple range there, but a nice little circle card. And I also use the dies to pop up that greeting. Here's an example of using that large stamp, but not the stencils. So this is gold heat embossed onto some Oceanside cardstock. And then the greeting is gold embossed on Plumberry cardstock. One last card. This one is a great example of stenciling on a different colored piece of cardstock. Now this one was on ballet slipper cardstock. This one's on Nectar, and then using some sorbet and grapefruit inks and a little bit of a yellow as well. Now this card does use the A2 basic ovals dies as well that's included in this release for that thin frame and the window that's cut out. So this is the Flower Field Bundle. So much fun. I love that this greeting here can span across a 5x7 card. It's so large, but it also still fits inside a regular MISTI stamping platform. So I hope you'll check this out. This is the Flower Field Bundle. The A2 Oval Basics dies and A7 Oval Basics dies are a great addition for your crafting stash. It's kind of a staple. I like to have good nesting die sets like this just to have on hand. So there is an A2 oval and an A7 oval. And I did want to point out a couple of things on these die sets. The largest shape is exactly A2. So in this case, it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it is a single cut. It does not do a thin frame. Then you've got 4 thin frames that kind of nest in, and then a small little one in the center, and that is not a frame, it's just the oval cut. I decided to include that one because if you wanted to cut out a word or something, that would be really nice. So I have that on a card and I'll point it out. So there are 4 thin frames, the outer frame, and then the small little rounded shape in the center. Now on the A7 Oval Basics, it's the same, except you get an additional thin frame just because of the size. So the outer die is exactly 5x7, so it will still fit in your A7 envelopes. Then you've got 5 thin frames and then a small little oval right there in the center. And like I said before, this is a great shape to cut out little short phrases or words or something like that. But you'd have the rounded ends, which I think is kind of nice. So here we go. Here's what they look like on the back of the packaging, just to show all the different shapes you can cut. And now let's look at some cards made using these dies. First up, this is the A7 Oval Basics. And I've used the outer shape and then 2 of the frames and skipped one of the frames in the center and then just cut out this pattern here. And this pattern it's actually eucalyptus cardstock. And then I used my Easy Repeat Deco Star background stamp and stamped that in white pigment ink right on top. Here's another card using the Oval Basics. This is the A2 Oval Basics. And put this card together right like that. When you're cutting like a card base using these shapes, I would recommend folding your cardstock and then running it through your die cutting machine with just the very edge kind of coming off the fold of your cardstock. And then that it keeps this fold up here, just like that. All right, and then this third card, I thought this was a fun way to show a different way to use the Oval Basics. This is the A2 Oval Basics. And this time I cut a window in the front of the card and then put a stenciled background behind. And this thanks right here was cut out using this little die right here. So this is the Oval Basics bundle. You can get both of these together in a bundle or you can purchase them separately. So this is the March 2026 release from Kristina Werner with Concord 9th. Everything is available at concord9th.com right now. So I hope you'll check it out. I'm particularly excited about all the birthday products. I mean, I make so many birthday cards throughout the year, so this is perfect. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'll see you guys next time.